Statistically speaking, my childhood was boring and uneventful. I was naive. I was raised in New Hampshire, where everyone in my schooling had the exact same demographics: white, middle or upper class, only English speaking, and two-parent households. I had never been exposed to any differences in educational equity before I became a teacher at a summer program for underserved middle school students, where I grappled with some unfortunate truths about the treatment that some families receive in the American education system. My job in this program was to teach chemistry, but more importantly, it was to connect with and be a resource for 5 advisees. Over the course of the summer, I became close with all of my students, but one of my advisees in particular was having an incredibly rough summer. "What's going on today, buddy?" I would ask him as we sat on a bench outside my classroom. "What happened with your homework last night?" He was unable to complete his homework for all 4 of his classes. He proceeded to tell me that his mother left him in charge of his 2 younger siblings until late in the night because she was going to nursing school and couldn't afford daycare. She was a single mom in transitional housing. A couple of weeks later, my student had continued to struggle, by no fault of his own, and now there was a medical emergency in his family that was keeping him out of the program for a few days. As I solicited advice on how to catch him up with work, one of my colleagues, who was working at another table in the faculty room, without looking up from his grading, said, "Well, some parents really don't know how to parent. They're just so lazy." He didn't even seem to skip a beat as he said it. I remember seeing his crinkled face to express his disgust. The word lazy seemed to hang in the air. At this moment, I realized that in education, there are implicit narratives that run through all levels of administration. From teachers to administrators to state and federal officials, many educational personnel hold this view of some families based on their race and ethnicity. How do I know that this coworker was basing his assessment on race? He knew nothing of the student. He just assumed that he and his parents were lazy. These views that are deeply rooted in society and in our educational system contribute so heavily to the invisibility that Hispanic and Black students feel when their teachers project these kinds of negative stereotypes onto them and their families. Students cannot succeed if their teachers think they are lazy, not trying hard, and don't want to be there, even if the teacher knows nothing about the situations of the students. I came to Duke with a clear mission. I want to be able to use the incredible opportunity that I've been given in order to learn about the systemic issues facing minority students in our educational system. I've learned so much from my classmates through their stories about the educational repression and invisibility they face, and I'm in this class to do exactly that, to hear perspectives and learn the facts, so I can get into education and try to reverse this narrative and bias for the betterment of all minority students.